Hello, and welcome to the Weekly Scroll podcast. My name is Ryan.
And I'm Glork, the great god slug of destruction.
Fuck yeah. And today we are doing something a little bit different. We are not doing a review. We're not doing an interview. We're not doing any of that. We are doing our first kind of
talk, actually. This is the end of the episode.
Yeah. Yep. That's it. We'll sit here for like 2 hours. So if you're watching on YouTube, we'll be here for you. But on podcast land, sorry. This is what you get.
Weird.
Bye. But today, we are doing something a little bit different. We're doing the first of what might end up being maybe a series of just creator specials. And one of the things, the first one we're going to be doing is Highland Paranormal Society, Nate Treme. I'm going to say Treme. I hope that's correct. And primarily what we're going to be reading through is the Haunted Almanac from Nate Treme, Highland Paranormal Society, published by Games Omnivorous, one of our favorite. I mean, you can
absolutely.
The Games Omnivorous sticker is like right there. You can see it even blurred. And the book is laid out by one of our favorite layout designers and artists, Gary Gontijo. So honestly, this is one of my favorite books on my shelf, period. Nate is an amazing creator and adventure writer, and we've actually been talking about doing this episode for a while, so we're really excited. The plan is to just basically go through a lot of Nate's games, maybe a little bit of some of the adventure stuff, but we're a game review podcast. We'll primarily go through the games and just touch on a little bit of that. Not touch on it, like go through it. So first of all,
do it. Not just touch. We're gonna
do it. I mean, we're gonna touch it.
But not me, because I don't have a physical edition. Which is a huge bummer.
Huge bummer. It's a gorgeous. It's
beautiful.
It's a disgustingly gorgeous book.
Yeah, like going through the PDF, I'm like, God, it just looks so. I mean, it looks so good all the way through.
Well, I'm going to kick to a physical screen real quick so I can show off some stuff. So this is the book. I'm even going to turn this fucking blur off.
I'm a little small guy now, if you're watching.
Those in podcast land, my background is no longer blurred, just so you know what's going on visually. I'm rearranging myself, so that's why there's a giant gap here. But this is, in fact, my Games Omnivorous section. It continues on. Oh, I should get that coin.
Yeah, get that coin. For those of you listening, he's getting a coin.
I got it. Oh shit, I knocked the sticker off. So this is the Haunted Almanac. Not only is the book itself gorgeous, but just stunningly beautiful. The front is it's a very nice dark red Haunted Almanac written in yellow. There's a little hooded scaly person on the front. It says Nate Treme. It's got the Game Omnivorous logo right at the top here. On the back, it's got the eye. And if you see my shirt here, it's very reminiscent of the Highland Paranormal Society. And then a list of like all of the names of the stuff in the book on the back. And the pages are black on the sides here, which is just elevates the whole thing. It's such a well printed book. Like Games Omnivorous does not put out insane quality, period.
Wait, it does not put out insane quality, or it only puts out insane quality?
What you said. Yeah, the one that you said.
It only puts out insane quality.
Does not put out something that is not insane quality.
Double
ridiculous.
Negatives.
Double negatives. So I'm just going to flip through some of the physical stuff I have here, like super quick, and then we'll hop into it. So first is we also have the In the Light of a Ghost Star zine, which is really fantastic. We'll obviously go through this from the book, but the zine itself has a little bit more info in it, and it does come with a super dope map. This is really fun, really fantastic.
That one's also sold out, and I really very much want one so terribly badly.
Maybe we can get Nate to reprint more stuff.
Maybe, yeah.
Pilgrims of Misfortune. I love the graphic design on this cover. Yeah. It's really gorgeous. Carcosa Station, an adventure. This is a Patreon reward. If you're not a member of Nate's Patreon, you're missing out. First of all, on top of him being insane game designer, his art style is fantastic, and you get a shitload of free art, ton of free adventures.
Very distinct.
A little postcard situation here. We got Dogtooth Valley here. Really love that. We have Cosmic, which works really well within the Light of a Ghost Star as well. This is a whole book of different just a collection of objects and stuff in space and entities and all sorts of stuff. Like really, really gorgeous art, really beautifully laid out. This is really fantastic. I got Scum Guts here, which is an adventure for Roday, even though I can't find my Roday cards. And then I also have Pearl, like a physical copy of Pearl, which is what the coin is for. First of all, how dope is the Highland Paranormal like geometric logo situation here?
No, very cool.
So good. And that goes with Pearl because it's a coin flip game. Like you flip a coin, heads or tails. And I have Pilgrims of the Knighted Path Halloween Hex Crawl for use with Pearl. The thing that was interesting about this when I first got it is that it's double cheeked up. It's got 2 covers.
Oh, cool.
Like, I don't know. I'm sure it was a print mistake from Mix'em, but like, wait a minute. Yeah,
we'll take it.
Two covers.
Yeah, it's better that way.
Well, so if anything happens to the one cover, I'll just peel it off and I still have another cover.
Who needs one? You know what? Who needs one cover? You have a whole backup cover, you know?
Dude, I honestly was like, every zine should just double cover. Why wouldn't you? I also got a cool sticker for the Pretty Boys Writing Club. So, nice. Love that. Better dead than ugly. So, why don't we just hop in and start talking Haunted Almanac? I've
been flipping through adventures this entire time while you've been.
they're so good.
I know they're good. I mean, this book just looks crazy good going through it.
It is. I mean, you got.
If you're listening along, just trust me on this. It's beautiful. You want to look through this, you know.
Mm-hmm. You want to own it and have it on your shelf, like I do. Yeah. I mean, again, it's Games Omnivorous, it's Nate, and it's Gontijo, so like this book wasn't gonna be awesome, but I think it's even better than you would hope for. You know, the only thing that could elevate it, the tiniest bit, would be a ribbon, but we're sluts for ribbons, so.
Well,
so the cover,
we're not really reviewing this one, you know.
I mean, even then, like, you know. So the cover, talked about that already. This little hooded figure here. This is the Haunted Almanac from the Highland Paranormal Society Anthology. Text and art by Nate. Layout by Gontijo. Andre Novoa, who basically is Games Omnivorous as far as I'm aware. With the editorial editing from Jared Sinclair. On Pearl and Moldy Unicorn and Samuel Mendez for The Lost Isle. This is only 1,000 copies in the first printing, which is great. Not great for you, but like, you know, it's there.
Not great for me.
I will say it does not. Yeah, I will say it does not have any bookmarks or hyperlinks in the PDF. So good thing we aren't reviewing this because that's disappointing. But I will say that even though we're not reviewing it, the table of contents here has a similar kind of layout in the lines of stuff that Vaults of Barn had. I don't mind this one as much, though, because of how big and bold the numbers are. Yeah.
Yeah. It's also like game, stuff for game, game, stuff for game, 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 stuff for game, game. Like, it's got subheadings. All the ones that are kind of mushed together and a little harder to read, they're all subheadings. So I'm like, okay, I know that Tunnel Goon's on 6, Pearl's on 38. You know, I'm fine with it. It's fine. It's not my favorite, but it's fine.
Yeah. And that's, the real critiques, because this is the shit and we're not critiquing and just appreciating the majesty that is Highland Paranormal Society. So today we're going to be talking about mostly the games, because we are a game review podcast, but maybe just touch on some of the adventures. We're going to do Tunnel Goons. We're going to do Pearl. We're going to do In the Light of Ghost Star. We're going to go through all of the 1-page games that are sometimes 4 pages. And then maybe just touch on 1 or 2 things in some of the adventures that are just to kind of highlight the way that Nate writes adventures, because I think it's how everybody should write adventures, honestly. Yeah. And then we'll go from there. So let's kick it off with also, look at this collage art here with Nate's face.
The collage is really good.
Oh my God. So I assume this is a collage of Nate. I assume this is his spouse. No, I mean, I've seen the pictures. Children, there's like a speaker, there's flowers all around. This is such a great, like, how do you, I don't know, like, this whole book is just such a fantastic expression of, at least my perspective, of Nate, and having this picture of him in the front this way.
I like that it has this like opening collage too. It's like that is Nate.
Yeah.
Like that's so cool, and it's like such a great way to open up this book that's just like the anthology of best work, you know.
When even having the collage right off the bat too, like there's a certain amount of like, I don't know, lightness to it, where you're just like, oh, this isn't just going to be like a black and white 2 lines like book of stuff. Like there's an insane like elevated design element to this that lets you know right off the bat this is gonna be the shit. So
and then we're gonna go straight into like, God, I love the little guys. I love the little guys.
Dude, Nate's art style is insane. So this is the image from Tunnel Goons. It's three little buddies. There is a guy in a little pointy hat. There's a guy with an eye patch. There's a guy in like a pointy hat, but with like his face covered. They're like, clearly they're going to be gooning in tunnels because they have like a shovel, a lantern, a torch.
Why can't we all just be these little goony guys? Why can't everyone, you know?
Listen, I'm probably this guy. I'm not going to lie. I'm probably the guy in the back. I see you as, this is you for sure. But here's the thing real quick about Tunnel Goons and Nate in general. There were 2 games that when I started late. I'm really sad that I missed, G plus and all of that shit and all the stuff from the indie scene. I started literally right when it died. Like, I think I started getting in the indie scene right when it died. I started playing 5th edition in 2014. I know you played 3.5 and some other stuff before that. One of the
I'm a cool proto hipster guy. I played 3.5.
There you go. Right after when D&D was good. So there were 2 games that I read that have like a similarness to them that basically blew my mind open to indie games, smaller games. And first of all, one of the things was Adam Vass and all the stuff that he did, but specific game was Maze Rats and Tunnel Goons. When I read the dice mechanic in Tunnel Goons, which we'll get to in just a second, my mind went, wait, you can roll some of them besides a D20. Like you can have a book that's not 300 pages. Like, what is this game? So this one, like, just kind of like blew my whole world up in my thought process of how games works, and might be one of the early impetuses, besides like Necronalis and stuff, of 2D6 and my love for it. So beautiful graphic design all the way through. We have the little guys on the next page. It's all red with just Tunnel Goons written on it in white. On the next page, we got Tunnel Goons again with the little guy. Got the lantern.
The title font for Tunnel Goons too.
It's so good. And then not only that, like the circles of red coming off of the lantern light.
Yeah, the lantern. Yeah.
Oh, the graphic design throughout this entire thing, using Nate's art and then doing just this insane layout and flipping the script on fonts and stuff like that. Crazy. We're just gonna like dish about this a whole way, but we'll try to actually get through games. So one of the other things that is my favorite about Nate's, and then we'll finally get into it, is we talked about this before stream, how simple but elegant everything is. Not simple as in plain, but just like Nate can do in 1 to 3 pages what people will do in a 30-page zine or a 300-page book.
Yeah.
Like the game structure, like the first line of this, people write 2 pages on like, what is a tabletop RPG? Or we have this game structure. A referee controls and describes the world to players, who then describe how the characters act in the world. Why would you ever need literally more than that?
Yeah.
Like, that's what I'm saying. The elegance and the simplicity, like there's no wasted words, and it's still, especially when you get to the tables and stuff, so much implied lore and everything. It's so good. So but yeah, this is Tunnel Goons. Action roll. When an action success is uncertain, a player rolls 2d6 and add points from the relevant class and a point for any relevant items. It is if the total is equal or greater than the action's difficulty score, the DS, it is successful. That's it, right? So difficulty scores are 8, 10, and 12. And then for dangerous actions, if an action has a risk of danger, the difference between the roll and difficulty score is the amount of damage inflicted. Like, that's it. That's like the whole fucking mechanic. So like if if something's falling from the sky and it's going to land on you and it's a D10 to dodge it, you roll 2d6 and get a 6, that's 4 damage. That's it. That's it. That's the whole fucking thing. And then
beautifully clean, you know?
Well, and then in the next part, it's the example, but it's got a little bit more mechanic because it talks about combat, basically. Here's an example. As an action, a player character fights a robo-mantis. I'm sorry. Again, no lore, no nothing, but Robomantis is the default example, and you're just like, okay, Robomantises exist in this. The Robomantis has a DS of 10. The player rolls 2d6 and adds 2 from their brute score. I'm sorry, I didn't even go over scores. Oh, we didn't get there yet. Adds 2 from their brute score, 1 from their sword, and 1 from their shield. The total is 12. The difference between 12 and 10 is 2, so the creature takes 2 damage. How easy is that?
Very easy.
And then here's the part that really made me go, oh shit, this is cool. And Maze Rats does like a similar... Does Maze Rats do a similar thing? I feel like I'm having a stroke now. A non-player character's difficulty score... Toast? That's not really how it works. No, I don't. A non-player character's DS is also their health points. So now the Robomantis's difficulty score is an 8 because they took 2 of damage. If the roll was 8, then the player would have lost 2 health. So this is my fucking favorite. Combat, especially in 5th edition, it sucks. Right? Because it's everything is a bullet sponge and it takes forever. Combat in Tunnel Goons is super fast for this exact reason. So like, again, the Robomantis has a DS of 10. With all of the rolls, that means you have to get above a 10 and their HP is a 10. So if you roll a 12, they take 2 damage, and then their difficulty score / health is now reduced by 2. So every time you hit them, it becomes easier to hit them, and they have less health. So it's all like almost exponential when you hit them. That makes sense,
right? As you beat the shit out of something, it shouldn't be as tough the entire time, right? Like, you get worse as a fight goes on, not better. So
exactly. And you don't stay like your armor gets beat up, you become slower, like everything. So like imagine how fast combat is in this when every time you hit them, it's easier to hit them. Like so much fun, and it really makes it feel like combat will be fun and dynamic, but that this isn't just a combat game, you know what I mean? Like I feel like this sits really well between kind of combat heavy games and a little bit more than Into the Odd. And that I've always said this over and over again. Into the Odd is one of like the best games out there that doesn't feel like a combat game. Combat exists, but it's felt like an exploration game to me.
It is, but exploring and building your business. So yeah.
Exactly. This feels like that, like exploration feels like a really fun part of it, but the combat to me is like a little bit more, and I love that just a little bit more towards combat because I love tactical combat and shit. Yeah. So I just think that was it's such a clean, clever, simple, elegant thing that is cleaner, simpler, more elegant than shit that again is 50 times longer.
Totally.
So anyway, so your inventory score is how many. Yeah, it's all beautiful. It's beautiful. Your inventory score is how many items you can carry. For each item that exceeds your inventory score, subtract 1 from Brute or Skulker. When you hit 0, you die. No saves, no nothing, you're dead. All right? Nate, I don't think in any of these games there's a single one that's like you get to save. I think once you hit 0, you're dead. Advancement, super easy. You level up every 2 game sessions. Each level, you raise a class score by 1 and raise either health or inventory by 1. Easy peasy. You don't get more... You don't get more stuff. You don't get more abilities. You don't get more skills. You're just you, and you get slightly better.
Get back in a tunnel, you goon.
Healing. Regain lost hit points by spending the night in a safe spot. Easy peasy. So your abilities, the traits that you have, every player character has a score of 0 or more for these abilities. So it's a 3-stat system. You got Brute, which means you're good at smacking things, feats of strength, and resisting poison. You got Skulker, which means you're good at sneaking, aiming, balancing, and dodging. And you got Erudite, which is good at reading, perception, speaking, and remembering. So it's really strength, dex, and wisdom for the most part. And
cooler names.
The naming of all of the abilities throughout all of Nate's games are like one of my favorite things. Character creation, easy peasy. Name your character. Your health starts at 10. Your inventory starts at 8. You roll a d6 on the character tables to determine starting ability scores and gear. Why don't you bring up a dice table real quick?
Okay.
Additionally, each character starts with 2 rations, a cloak of their color choice. I love that. Immediately, I love that. And an item of their choice, pending referee approval. So, on your... literally, you don't put points in stats. You don't do anything. You roll for a childhood, a profession, and what happened during the war. There's no explanation of the war, but the lore instantly. We have Robomantises, and at some point in the past, there was a war. That's like literally, that's 5 words that have filled this entire thing with so much lore. It's crazy to me. So on the first one, it's a childhood. It's a D6 stat.
Gear Lark. I start with one brute and a crowbar.
So you add one brute to your character. So there are 6, and there's 2 that give you a point in Skulker, 2 that give you a point in Brute, and 2 that give you a point in Erudite, 1 each. And it's like Desert Urchin, Wheel Rat. Well, you said Gear Lark, so you get that crowbar. And what's your profession?
My profession? Oh, I'm a slab dragger. So I got one more to brute, and I got a black mallet. So
bro,
I just drag slabs, you know.
The Gear Lark and Slab Dragger. I mean, you got a crowbar and a black mallet. That really goes.
I got 2.
There's
brute.
also. Oh, you're. I mean, that's just you're the beefcake. You got Pit Warden, Library Guide, Lock Snipe, Botany Priest, Caravan Drifter, and then what were you doing during the war?
Oh, I fled, so I have a compass.
Dope. So you just get to start with those 2 points, and then 1 from your childhood, 1 from your profession, and then the during the war gives you an item that you get to start with. And join the militia, went underground, joined the rebels, fled, gathered intel, or profiteered. And that's the whole thing. Yeah, and that's Tunnel Goons.
We're great. A good episode. Catch us next week.
Right.
Yeah. Good simple game. I like the names of the ability scores. I like the rolling for it. I like that it's like childhood and then your profession. It kind of creates a little background narrative for your goon.
Well, and like I said, it works so well for you that you were like the Gear Lark and a Slab Dragger, because it makes sense. Like if you're working in like basically like construction and all that kind of stuff, it makes sense that you would like know a lot about like hands-on gear and stuff. It's really great.
It's funny. I feel like we don't always talk about what's in the chat, but someone named Real Meat Castle, don't know who, says it always has like this post-apocalyptic like Adventure Time vibe to Tunnel Goons, because it's got like, which is funny because when I saw Tunnel Goons, like the font has this very much like post Misadventures of Flapjack Cartoon Network era font. Like Adventure Time is a great example. Like a Steven Universe kind of thing, like that font. It feels very not Saturday morning cartoon, but that era of like weird post-apocalyptic weirdo fun cartoons. Which is the best era of cartoons. So
it really was. I feel bad for everyone after us. We had the best childhood, but yeah, it's. I
mean, it's funny because that was that era. I'm like 20 in that era, and I'm like, I fucking turn on Cartoon Network, bro. These shows slap.
Hey, listen, it was made for us. I mean, the kids could watch it, but you know, it was made for us. Yeah. But. Nate just hopped in chat. We just read that real quick. Sorry, podcast people. But Nate, thank you so much for dropping in. Hope you get to listen to the episode later. I really appreciate it. So, Tunnel Goons, legit one of my favorite games. I'm going to be honest. I meant to say this earlier on. People ask all the time, like, I want to get into, like, indie games. Like, where's a good place to start? I'm going to tell you, Haunted Almanac. If I could have 50 of these and someone's like, oh, I want to get into tabletops, I would literally just hand them this book and be like, there you go. That's an introduction to this.
Nice.
But yeah, so real quick, just gonna talk about like the Moldy Unicorn. After the games, there's a lot of adventures for it. Tunnel Goons has a ton of adventures. The Moldy Unicorn is one of my favorites. It's an inn, but what I really love about the way that Nate writes adventures is again, Hunter and I were talking about this earlier. There's never a solution given. A lot of times in 5e adventures, what you're gonna get is like, here's the situation, like here's the story of the situation. If the characters do this, have them roll that. If the characters do this, have them roll that. If the there's like this ingrained like solution that like whether you understand it or not as a GM is always gonna. It's like they can do anything they want, but here's the possible things. You're gonna gear the players towards that in your brain, like you just are. I hate that. And one of the things that is so great about Nate, and the way that he writes, is not only how, like we said before, like edited everything is, as in like zeroed down. It's pretty much just what's in the room, the behaviors, some of the people, and that's it. And then the narrative can be completely decided by the players. So the Bastards Emporium is like a secret room inside this this bar, and it says a buyer and seller of stolen rare and illegal goods. The clerk is Pluko Nocha, a genteel demon, will accurately appraise any item for a fee. Pluko can teleport to any spot within 30 feet, but is bound to the Emporium by its mysterious owner and cannot leave. And then there's a unique inventory of stuff that you can get, and then items that Pluko will buy. There's no stats to them. There's no nothing to them. It's make of it what you will. And I love that. And then every time you walk into the bar, there's a D20 table of what happens when you visit the Moldy Unicorn. And they're so good. Could you roll a D20 for me real quick?
Absolutely. My dice roll is right here. I rolled 18.
All right, what you got?
A snail priest with a smoking censer walks around muttering prayers and leaves a slippery trail of slime.
That's what's up. And that works out great. Oh, there's also a make a demon table, which is dope. A physical feature, 1 or 2 physical features and the effect it has on bystanders. 3d12.
3d12, hold on. Let's just do this. I just want to do this.
Yeah, I figured. I saw your face light up.
9, 11, never forget, 2. So I got a physical feature 1, cat whiskers and snakes for hair. My feline with snakes for hair demon. It creates spelling mistakes and all bystanders around.
Yep. And then right after that is the so good, right? Stuck song syndrome is one of them. Like toothache. It's so good. Like Grotberg Crypt is the next part of it, and it is it's a crypt with about snail warriors. I'm not going to get into it, but it's fantastic.
But if you were to roll the encounter with, I think there's a demon on the encounter that wants you to go to the nearest above land cemetery. This could lead into this, you know?
Well, I mean, you also had a snail priest walk through the bar, and then you're going to go to the crypt of the snail warriors. Yeah. So
look at that.
Again, really good, really flavorful. We're going to move on from Moldy Unicorn because there's other adventure stuff I want to talk about, but the maps are always fantastic. Again, like the layouts of everything is really great. And one of the other things I like about Nate's adventures as well is very rarely is there ever, if ever, a story. It's just fun, interesting shit in rooms. And one of the I'm just tired of this fucking term anymore, but the OSR things is the characters' actions will create the narrative. Our brains make cars look like people's faces. Like our brains will create shit. So when you get out of this, your party has created their own fun narrative story as they went through. You don't need to walk them through the short story that you wrote, you know? And I just love that it's just, like I said, it's a series of fun stuff, interesting things, and then just like what's in there and maybe their behaviors, and that's all you get. And then the players can decide how they're going to approach it. Really, really like that a lot. But a lot of great adventures here. So we can talk about the layout a little bit because every adventure has like different fonts, different color background. Like Gontijo did a fantastic job making everything, whether it's adventure or game, feel different as you turn the page and get to the next part. And it's just gorgeous. Like this one is the Astral Curse of the Iron Gnome, and it's white and a blue vibe. The last one.
Yeah.
And look at the art there. I mean, so good. Little Nomi guys and stuff. I'm going to scroll because this is honestly one of my favorite pages in the entire book.
It's an amazing page. Like, so the Eternal Caverns of Urk, if you are listening along, it's like several different like orbs that have like eyes, like realistic eyes in it. One's got mushrooms and stones piled on it, and the other one's like very cool. And it's kind of like there's another kind of like half circle at the bottom. It's all broken up like tectonic plates or something. Yeah, such a cool page.
Yeah. It's and then just the black and red, you know, we love that shit. Black, red, and white is so good. And then so this
pink
is
and black.
I mean, yeah. But then there's this like molten kind of rock situation at the bottom. Beneath the Black Mountain Urk, twisting caverns descend to unfathomable depths. The Mad Prophets. No, you can't. You literally can't.
You can't.
The Mad Prophets say they are the veins of a long dead star god and stretch to the end of time, the beginning of creation. And there you go. and then you got the adventure. And again, the layout, this collage, like black and white, gray and white collage art throughout this entire thing on that like deep red background is just gorgeous the whole way through. Really, really fantastic. Cool. Up from the Muck, another adventure. We got the Forgotten.
Hey, listen, this like it's crazy how much is just here for just Tunnel Goons. This is the first game. You know,
it's insane. There's literally what, like 10, 12 adventures for it. It's insane. This is another one of my favorite pages, and just favorite ones in general. Shrine of the Black Hound. It's got like the Black Hound at the top. Yeah, it's got the
much darker motif. You know.
It's such a dark motif. But it's got the Hound and the Huntsman. We're not going to get into it, but again, it's on black with red and white. It's really, I mean, clearly we have a vibe. And here's the little guy from the front in Viridia's Garden. Is the character with the hood right there. So we're scrolling. We have a solid yellow page, and then we get to Prole. I can't tell you how much I love this.
This is a cool, like, it's from one side and then the front side. So this is like one of those episodes, like it's such a visual episode, more so than usual, but like going to the Prole page, it's 2 pages back to back, right? And one has the Prole circle logo backwards and then like a shadow over it. And then the next page is from the front view, which is like the Prole logo is like a light shining on this little guy, just another little guy, you know?
So if you have the book, the reason there's that yellow page is so it'll be over here. This page is actually designed to be like the front and back in the book. It's on the same page.
Cool.
So the first page is from the back, and everything is backwards, as if you're looking almost from like in a room out through glass that has writing on the other side, and you see the shadow of a figure, and then you flip to the next page, and now you see the figure in the drawing, and you see the whole background. It's a coin flipping analog adventure game called Prole. I assume like Proletariat from Paranormal, from Highland Paranormal, and it's another kind of like anamorphic figure. It's kind of got like ears, but eye patch. I think Nate loves eye patches.
Everyone looks cooler than an eye patch, you know,
whether you need it or not. And
what was that we did the other day? It was like an unneeded eye patch. What was that?
What were we in? Was it Black Hack?
It was Black Hack. Yeah.
So this is Prole. So I actually have a physical Prole here, which is really great. But again, the design in this is really fantastic. This is really quick, simple game. Again, the simplicity and elegance of the of the mechanics through a lot of these games just make me like, this is why Rules Light is a shit. I love it. So what is Prole? Prole is an analog adventure game where one player, the moderator, conveys an imagined world, and the other players explore that world through characters called player characters. The moderator describes the world, etc. So what you need to play Prole is each player needs a pencil, a coin, and a character sheet. You can photocopy page 45 or print the digital file from Highland Paranormal. Thank you for providing links to what you need to play the game. And then the moderator needs to have some adventure prepared. Guess what? There's a ton. Nate wrote them, and some other ones. So the rules for Prole: resolving actions. When a PC attempts an action where the outcome is uncertain, the player flips a coin. And again, this came with this. This is a Highland Paranormal coin, blank on one side, the Highland Paranormal on the other. It's like a shiny, glossy red on yellow, which is just a stunning little situation. Heads mean success.
Stunning situation.
It is. If they have talent and a relevant skill indicated by at least one checked box next to the skill, they can attempt the coin flip an additional time for each box checked.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it literally it's a coin flip game. It's basically 50-50, but obviously 50-50 as you add more to it is more options of success. You just need one head. So that's it. So there's 2 examples here. We'll just have we'll have the one. A PC attempts to jump over a gap between rooftops. To determine if they make the jump, the player flips a coin. It's tails, which means failure, but the PC has a box checked next to their skill so they can make an additional coin flip. This time they get heads, they make the jump. The next one is about drinking poison root beer. They fail. They don't have the skill, so they're dead. Yep. The lines at the bottom here, I love this. The player, so here it is. They get tails, the character dies. The player makes a new PC, or they continue with the same character, but as a ghost. I don't know. Discuss with the moderator how death works in this world.
I'm so playing as the ghost after this, you know?
Right? But I just love that, like, I don't know, do whatever. Like, I gave you the rules, you do what you want with them. Like, I just love that. So the skills, there are 6 pictograms on the character sheet that represent areas of skill in which a PC might have talent. They're abstract and open to interpretation. Part of the moderator's job is determining if a skill is relevant to an action. If a skill's relevance is unclear, I encourage the moderator to favor the players. I encourage players to think of creative actions that use their PC's talents. Play to your character's strengths. I love it. There's a little caped frog like guy on the next page. It's just fucking adorable. I mean,
all these little guys, you know,
they're all nice little guys.
Why can't I be just a little guy in a world that is illustrated by Treme? You know,
it's if only. Here's some suggested areas where each skill might be relevant. Make up your own as you go. But the pictograms are a heart, an eye, a brain, a foot, a sword or dagger, and a mouth. And the suggested ones are toughness, perception, recalling knowledge, swiftness, strength, and charming. And advancement, again, super simple. As a character gains more experience, their skills improve. After 2 sessions of adventuring, a player may check a skill box on the character sheet. After 5, they can check another. At 8, they can check another. And 1 final box after 10. That's it. And then advantage and disadvantage if a character has significant factors in their favor, such as planning or assistance, you can allow them to have an extra coin flip. If they're attempting an especially difficult action or if significant obstacles, the moderator may require 2 successful flips to accomplish the task. Great way to do advantage and disadvantage.
Yeah.
Because you can't take away the flip because they might only have 1. There is a thing here for pause. This is basically safety tool. It basically says players can always take a break and discuss any troubling content. If a player flips over the character sheet, it's a signal to just stop right there. And you can always check out the TTRPG safety kit from Kennesaw and Lauren Bryant Monk. And creating a prole.
Dude, I love how you do all of this that we're about to go over. It's like,
well, I guess. Do you want to do a D2 or do you want me to flippy flip?
Flippy flip. I've rolled a few times. Right. You can roll so.
All right. So creating a prole on your character sheet, write down your character's name and check 4 skill boxes. Use the following coin tables. It's coin tables for heads and tails. So you roll a temperament, a background, and a starting item, and a religion. So temperament, you flip the coin twice, and there's something for HH. It's sanguine, which is outgoing, optimistic, or impulsive. You got HT, you're choleric, ambitious, and confident. You got TT, you're melancholic, which means you're thoughtful, independent, timid, and pessimistic. And phlegmatic for TH, calm, curious, indecisive, and different. Let's see what we got here. I got tails.
Come on, 2 tails to be so good.
Oh, tails head. I got phlegmatic. I mean, I'm tails in real life, so I got phlegmatic, calm, and curious. Okay, so background, you flip 4 times. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There's 16 options because that's 4 times 4 because I'm a fucking idiot.
I don't know why you sure.
So won't go over all of them, but let me flip 4 and we'll talk about that one. So I got tails, heads, tails. What I get?
Busker.
Oh, I get a busker. It gives me $3. There's also snail farmer, flunky, pit brawler, false prophet, midwife. Love those. So 16 more for starting item. Let's see what we got here. I got heads, tails. All right, I'm just gonna throw it again. Heads, tails.
Heads, tails.
Mm-hmm.
Sour date wine.
Okay, I'll take it. I'll take some sour date wine. I like the worn concertina, the beetle lantern, or the jar of sticky syrup.
I like fat goldfish in a jar.
That's what I was thinking they do, the fat goldfish in a jar, just cause. A sack of dried frogs. And then religion. I like this. Every character has a religious affiliation. Your participant may be nominal or devout, but you start with a relevant item either way. I like that there's like a flavor to the starting items, like the During the War and Tunnel Goons. Like, what were you doing? And that's what your item was. It's just a really great way to do it. So only 3 for this one. Tails, heads.
The best one.
Oh, it is.
Yeah,
The circle of the inverted mountain. Yeah. We'll actually get to in the appendixes. There's actually spell list for this, and they're some of my favorite spells. So the circle of the inverted mountain is a cult devoted to studying magic. Reality is a dream of some kind. Membership is secret. And I got a silver bell. And that's Pearl. So here's a character sheet for Pearl, and it's the whole. It's the kind of the game on the character sheet. So it's Pearl. Name, draw, and describe your character. Check 4 boxes to start. You write your name, you draw a little portrait. It's got the 6 pictograms with only 2 check marks next to it. So you start with 4, and I think you can only earn 4 more. And there's a total of 12. So you max out at 8. So you can never be everything at everything. And then it says at the bottom, flip a coin, like et cetera, et cetera. And then we have Pilgrims of the Knighted Path, which I want to play super fucking bad. This is the one that I was talking about earlier that has the double cheeked up cover here.
2 covers. And 2 covers to the 2 covers.
Happy Halloween. Love the little guy in the front. It's so good. And then like the maps and stuff inside are fantastic. But obviously it looks really, a little different.
Really nice. Yeah. Like everything else about this, like visually, it's really great. Like it's of such a high quality that
all the way through.
Yeah, all the way through. It's really enjoyable to go through.
Got another little caddish looking guy here in the gourds and stuff. Great. And I love the coins throughout Pearl. Like you'll see like on the different pages there's this. Yeah. The maps. We're not going to go through this adventure. Halloween treats.
Yeah, don't, because if you run, I want to play it. So.
Yeah, maybe we can get Nate to go on a run.
Ooh, we need flipping coins on screen. Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, I'll do it. I'm sure we could download like a coin flip thing, or just D2, I guess.
I'm doing analog. Yeah.
The other adventure they have on Pearl in here is Welcome to Lodin. So there's 2 adventures for Pearl. Then we get to In the Light of a Ghost Star. Oh,
In the Light of a Ghost Star. Really great one.
Oh, this page.
I know. It's funny, like the zine looks really good, but I really like the color scheme on the Haunted Almanac version.
Yeah. Oh my God. This kind of like purpley blue on like the black.
Yeah.
I guess it's much bluer over there than on my screen. Oh, my middle monitor gives actually,
it's a little purpley as well.
But when I look at this monitor, it's a very bright blue.
Yeah, well, the live stream is on this monitor for me, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's much bluier. There's definitely some purple in there. Believe us, just trust us.
Believe
it. Believe it. Yeah.
One thing I love about the layout in this a lot too is how like Tunnel Goons did the same thing. There was a piece of art that was just a piece of art on the page, and then on the next page was like the title of it. I'm sure it's so that like pages can work out evenly, but I really love that there's just a piece of art and then just like pretty much just the game and then the title and then it goes into it.
So a little bit like off topic, but kind of on topic. I found the Haunted Almanac on eBay right now. You want to guess how much it is on eBay?
$130.
$250.
$250. I feel bad for anyone. I feel bad for anyone who buys it right now because they're reprinting it, according to Nate. So
I'm gonna get it on the reprint. I regret not.
I was gonna say you're gonna spend $250. Yeah.
No, well, I don't have that money to spend. Okay, In the Light of a Ghost Star though. This is a great one. This one's like a very hunter game, right?
Yeah.
Like a weird sci-fi. Like, also this page is great.
Dude, so I can't get over this page. Like
the little skull head inside of the. There's a lot of purple in there. You can see the purple there.
Yeah, the astronaut with the skull face. Yeah, with the light, with that blue and purple and the purple like shapes in the back. Oh my God! If you're listening to this on the podcast, this is one you definitely have to go watch on YouTube. This page is stunning.
Yeah, and that's Linktree / the Weekly Scroll. Just if you're listening, just throwing it out there. So I love this one. Mostly because I love weird sci-fi, and I also love weird little magic items. They're not magic items, right? They're science items, but really that's just a difference in explanation. So it's a game about Earth was abandoned. I feel like there's a little bit more lore in this one. It's not quite as implied. It's like there's actually lore. Like, so Earth was abandoned ages ago during the red giant expansion of our sun. Now dimly lit by a ghost light of a dead white dwarf. It lies layered with eons of forgotten civilization. From the warmth of Martian reactor cities, scavengers hire illegal transportation to Earth to delve into depths, looking for ancient treasures. Oh, you know what? I also have a thing for where like the whole game is just about like getting magic loot and then bailing. Like I love that. It's like where the whole game is just like you're just dungeon delving to get weird shit and then leaving. Yeah. Yeah. There's ghosts. There's machines. There's weird cockroach people. All kinds of wacky stuff.
I can't ever look at like cockroach aliens and not think of like Transformers. Or Transformers, the like the anime or manga, never finished, but they go to a place and there's like roach people that like murder everybody. It's really good graphic. I wish it had finished, but anyway.
Yeah. So gameplay, another great like this is how a game works. Super short blurb, right? Referee describes a situation. The player gets a turn to move up to 30 feet and perform an action. If an action success is uncertain, the player rolls the appropriate stat die. A 4 or higher succeeds. At the referee's discretion, special circumstances such as a tactics or disadvantage gives a +1 or -1 to the roll. Easy. You're just rolling above a 4, ideally, or you're rolling at a 4 or higher. Character creation. You're going to start with 3 HP, 10 inventory slots, and 50 credits. You're going to assign a D4, a D6, and a D8 among the following stats. That's going to be Fighter, which is your physical one. Explorer, which is your... I feel like these are really well-rounded stats, too, because they're like kind of really very much open to... Because like Explorer, it's like, well, that's sneaking, but it's also perception. But it'd also be like getting up a mountain or hill. Like there's a lot... It's very open-ended. And then Scientist. So Fighter, Explorer, and Scientist. So you assign a D4, a D6, and D8. Very interesting because you have to roll above a 4. So whatever you're rolling the D4 to or assigning that to, you're like, well, that's going to kind of suck to roll because you have to hit the 4.
Yeah. Well, there is the advantage, the special tactics and disadvantage. I think you might have skipped just that one line where you can add a +1 or -1.
Oh no, I did say that.
Oh, I completely spaced then.
Yeah, I'm going fast, okay? You didn't really be zoned in on this, Ryan. You have no idea where I'm at, man.
I'm on coffee, not Adderall, so I'm trying my darndest.
So, like, that's really cool. Like, you like feasibly could set yourself in a situation to get a +1 to where that D4 doesn't suck, but that still kind of sucks.
It sucks, yeah.
Yeah. And then combat. To successfully land an attack or defend against an attack, the player must roll a successful fighter roll. Roll fighter.
Well, sorry, real quick to go back. Dude, the average on a D6 is still only a 3.
Yeah, totally.
And the average on a D8 is only like a 4 point something. So yeah, you're like maybe going to get it with your best stat, like on average. Like, I love that.
Yeah, it is like it does feel like a game where it's gonna be like, well, this is gonna be mostly failure.
Like life.
Also, the leveling up in this game it seems like it could be fairly difficult. So advancements, you gain a level upon delivering 5 treasures to Mars. So you're going to Earth to find these like magic, science, weird science fiction items that have cool. Like, some of them are really cool, and you have to bring 5 of them back to level up. Treasures can be any ancient Earth artifacts or ancient alien tech. You'll increase your HP by 1 and raise 1 stat die to the next size. You also gain 1 inventory slot. So it has like a nice little dice size order, which is like 4 to 6, 6 to 8, 8 to 10, 10 to 12. Just so you know what size they go up to. It would be cool to play for a while and get some characters to have like, I got a D10. I got a D10 in one of my stats. So 4 is much more feasible. But even then, D10 average is a 5. Like, that's the average. So you get in a -1 situation, you're like, well,
you done fucked up. I mean, that's where you're at.
Yeah. Conditions, really simple. Conditions like hunger or whatever. It's a -1 to all rolls. Couldn't be any better,
Elegant.
And then there's like a cool little blurb about how the setting is kind of based on like the potential future of Earth and our sun. Very cool.
Yep.
Good flavor.
Yep. It's so good. It literally, like, because you're outside of White Dwarf, it literally talks about like the sun will eventually be one. So like, do whatever the fuck you want it on the timeline, because shit can just get weird. I think at the bottom, like the last line is like one of my favorites. Let your imagination run wild.
So let your imagination run wild and get real weird with it and have fun.
Love that. All right.
Yeah. It gives you some ancient alien tech items. Any of these really stand out to you?
I really loved the leech gun, and which was the other one I really loved? I think the cocoon pod. I think were the two that were my favorites.
I love the humidifier. It just produces a 40-foot cloud of thick, like that's it. It's just a humidifier, really. It's a really powerful humidifier. I was like, that's so funny. Yeah, there's some really good ones. The mind control apparatus is cool. Leech gun is really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, the leech gun does 1d8 damage to a target and heals you for the same amount. That's great. And I love one of the reasons I love Cocoon Pod and Exo Armor too is just because I love the word chitin. Chitin, like, or chitinous. If I had to pick 50 favorite words, chitinous would be in them. Like, I love it.
When I was a kid, I said chitinous, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't remember. I don't remember when I knew it was chitin, but I know in Destiny they definitely said chitin because the Hive are all covered in chitin. So I was like,
I played the Elder Scrolls Morrowind when I was like very young, obviously, because that game was out when I was in like junior high or something. And I think I played it before the Xbox release on PC, and you can get chitin armor, and I didn't know that word at that one time. So, or I only ever read it. So, yeah. Good stuff. Moving on, there's a fun little sample Earth hex crawl that has, I mean, it looks great, but also I love this hex crawl. Oh yeah, this is the map you have. Fantastic. So good. Amazing. I love that, like, you have the potential to stay in the tower of a Nurgle the Astro Lich. And he's totally cool about it. Like, he's got his own plot going. He's trying to make his way to a black hole because he's just bored with this universe. This reality is just boring for him now. So
I mean, he's a lich.
He's served by roach people. Sure.
So good. And it's the Astro Lich. We know one of those.
Yeah, we know an Astro Lich as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you want to? I think it's just generators and stuff on the rest. An example of play, but in the in the character sheet, but the regular zine
sheet. I do like the character sheet. It's different in this one than it is on the. Let me pull up the. Or is it the same character sheet? Am I wrong?
No, I don't think.
It's a different character sheet.
Yeah. It doesn't have like the list at the bottom is different. So when you go to this character sheet, it doesn't. It's just a list of inventory. In the zine by itself outside of Haunted Almanac is a list for inventory, as opposed to this one that's got like the picture of the dude and then the stuff at the bottom. But did you want to talk at all about like the extra stuff that's in the regular zine? Because I think that's the one that you got to read, right?
Yeah. So there are spaceships in the actual zine. It gives you like a full little run through of some spaceships. And it gives you like should be 11.
Boom.
Ryan controls the scroll. I don't know if you guys watching have learned that yet, that Ryan is the Lord of the Scroll on this. But it's not me. Yeah. So spaceships can be purchased, stolen, or found abandoned. And it gives you several different, it gives you buying a ship, system ratings, improving a ship weapons, a cool addendum on this that I'm sure I would use playing this. It also tells you how fuel works. Fuel's pretty sparse. It's also really expensive, but you really only use it when you're taking off from planets. You don't use it when you're like flying around a planet. Or when you're leaving a space station. It's really if you're going somewhere, leaving that altogether. But it takes a fuel crystal, as all ships do, you know?
Why wouldn't they? Yeah.
But
I
yeah,
love
I love this thing. So
Dude, well, and then the thing too is like, first of all, love the cover in the regular one, but the cover on this is fucking fantastic too.
oh, it's really good. It's a black and white cover, unlike the other one. For those of you listening, but it still has that kind of like it's this like guy in a spacesuit, but he's got a skeletal face. You know, like still very creepy. Like it's beautiful. You know,
It's great, yeah, and even in the this kind of like inversed picture of the astronaut group on the back.
Yeah, so the back cover is like a group of astronauts, but it's an inverted picture, so they're all like, yeah. You should watch this if you're listening. This is a great one to watch, honestly.
Oh, it really is. And I think next
is one-page games.
Yeah, it's one-page game. So again, there's a great graphic. I think this is a graphic from the, or I know it is at least some of the art from the first game. And then it says one-page games, and then we get into Radical Quests. Like I said, I mean, you just hop in whenever you want to snag one. But we're just gonna kind of go through the one-pagers. So Radical Quest, these are, again, super simple one-page games, and I really enjoyed this one, actually. So it says, right at the top, why do you adventure? Which is one of my favorite things to have, because we've talked about this before, with some OSR games, like, why would I just sit the fuck at home, you know? So yeah. I like that there is, like, a D6, like, why do you adventure? Revenge, wonder, shame, boredom, greed, or that you're just lost. Like that one. There's a list of 1, 2, 3, 5 characters. You can be the warrior, but it's Waryer. The gadabout, the magus, the small folk, or the beastie. There is a list of wounds under each. The warrior is 5, the gadabout's 3, magus is 2, small folk is 3, and beastie is 4. And then there's the stats: strength, swiftness, charm, and wisdom. So and each one is already listed here for what you get. So for example, the warrior is 4 strength, 2 swiftness, 2 charm, and 1 wisdom, and the magus is 1 strength, 1 swiftness, 2 charm, and 5 wisdom. They have a listed special here. Everyone has 1, except that the magus has 2, which is 2 spells. So the warrior, for example, is behead, remove the head in 1 hit. You are a Vorpal warrior. And the magus gets 2 spell. You get transform, which is you turn a person into a toad, chicken, or a mouse, or you get levitate, which means you float a target 10 feet. And the way it works is when success is uncertain, roll less than the relevant stat score on a D6 to succeed. That's it, a D6. Specials work automatically. You roll a D6 after using a special. Odd means you can't do it again until the next day. Love it.
Love it.
Check a wound bubble every time you are injured. If all wounds are checked, you are dead. This is... I'm going to say that like every line is my favorite line, but this little section here is like some of my favorite shit. Check a wound bubble every time you are injured. And then in red, it says, if all wounds are checked, you are dead. And then it says, you are a ghost now, period. Strength and swiftness are 0, period. Charm and wisdom are the same. It's just like that easily could have just been like, all your stats are 0, but no. Strength and swiftness are 0, charm and wisdom are the same. Resolve unfinished business to RIP. That's it, and that's all game. And that's, you know what? Game. That's all you fucking need. It's so good and so clever.
So it's Automaton. Yeah. Your creators made the world uninhabitable for themselves. Too close to real life. Their biological minds led them to actions that seem illogical to your processor. Chaos, atomic war, and ecological disaster have transformed the planet. Still, you miss them. Their music, poetry, and emotion. In the wreckage of their world, what new society will you build? Bot creation. Write down your bot's initial purpose. What does it do? Security, cooking. It's I have a maid bot. I was a maid bot, you know? Write down one software program you have installed. It can be unrelated to your initial purpose. Salsa dancing, translating, gardening. Choose one piece of equipment you have installed: porch, floodlight, inflatable raft. Choose one emotion chip. This is the tone your bot uses when communicating. Mine would just be sarcastic. I would be like, you ever play KOTOR? Oh, you can play Knights of the Old Republic? It's like the HK-47 droids, just like sarcastic answer. Yeah, use 6 energy points. How to play. A referee describes the world to players who then describe how their bots act in the world. When performing an action and success is uncertain, roll a d12. If your initial purpose is relevant, add 4. If your installed software is relevant, add 2. Each task is assigned a difficulty score before rolling. Easy's 8, medium's 10, 12 is hard. Makes sense. D12 plus potentially plus 4. If your bot gets hurt, lose 1 energy point. Energy points can be restored by batteries or generators. If you run out of energy, your bot goes offline. You can occasionally find new software modules and old machines. You have up to 3 programs. You can have up to 3 programs installed. And that's some adventure ideas. You want to roll a d12 for an adventure idea?
Absolutely. Ten.
10. 10?
Did they skip 10? Are we missing 10? Hey, on the next reprint, the D12 is missing a 10. Let me re-roll that. A 1.
A 1. Find more bots and start a bot settlement. I like this. This is Wally. You guys are going to play Wally.
It's 100% fucking Wally, and I love it. I fucking love it. Number 7. I love number 7. Find the mysterious entity, quote unquote, God, referred to in human writing. That's your mission. Find God. But one thing I really love about this too is it's super soloable.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Like 1 or 2 player. Like I feel like this is definitely. I mean, obviously you're just a bot, but like I feel like this is like a 1 or 2 player game, and I love that. Brim and Feather. This is like an IRL game that I fucking love so much. Brim and Feather. Yeah.
I was wondering about this one. Go for it.
Okay. You are members of the Wandering Order of Fallen Stars. The order's hierarchy is determined by wideness of hat brim or length of feather in hat. Feather length beats brim width every time. This is all caps, by the way. Meet once a month in a garden or park. Determine hierarchy. The winner, called the Crow Righteous and Supreme, leads the others on a tour through the park or garden. A song, poem, or unrecorded history lesson is customary. Do not speak to trees unless the sky is overcast. The journey must end somewhere with a meal available. The Crow Righteous and Supreme covers any costs. Repeat every month. Repeat every month. Keep records of how many times each member is Crow Righteous. This is not a game, and it never ends. In much bigger caps, do not speak to trees unless the sky is overcast. And then, do not be sorry. Dude, if I had 5 friends near me, I would fucking do this every month and be so happy.
Do this. I'm gonna do this my move. God. I have a new group of weirdo friends, and I'm gonna make them do this with me.
I have 0 friends, so that's that are close enough.
You could just fly out. You could join us once a month.
Listen, I know there's some other weirdos up there that I wanna chill with too. So, Mecha Dudes. Did you want to do Mecha Dudes?
Sure, Mecha Dudes. And this is a much more like, so you check 3 boxes. You have 3 different stats: violence, logic, and heart. And there's 3 boxes in each, and you check 3 of them. You check a heart when you get hurt. When all hearts are checked, you're dead. When an action outcome is uncertain, roll a d6 for every check box and a relevant stat. A 1 equals success. So you're going to roll a pool of d6s and you're aiming to get a 1, right? All players make a Mecha Dude. GM runs them through an official D&D adventure that was illegally obtained. Makeup rules as needed.
It's so good, dude. The thing that one of my favorite things about this game too is if you go to itch, it's $100 for this one page.
Not. Hold on, I have the
$100. Yeah, it's $100 for this one page here. I'm gonna throw the link in chat for everybody. We should also link like all of Nate's stuff, and we will in the description, in the YouTube and everything. But it's $100. It's actually used to only be $50. It has since gone to $100.
Where is it? Oh my god, it is $100. That's so
Yeah.
fucking ridiculous.
This is the best and only mech RPG ever made. It hasn't been play tested. It's only one page. It was made for the Art is Ego Jam. Please buy it. The whole thing was like super tongue-in-cheek, like, and because again, like, it's one page and then it gives you the entire page right on the itch, and then you can find it here. But also, it's like literally like, it's just the most tongue-in-cheek fucking thing ever, and I would play the fuck out of this. Like, I
like the run through. I would run them through a D&D adventure, like, and just not change anything about it except that you guys are robots, just for no reason. You guys are gonna do a Lost Mines of Findelver,
and Delvers would drop the money.
You're robots,
dude. You meet a Nothic, but as like just 3 fucking robots, like. It's so good, and even it's so ridiculous because it obviously was just like hand done. Like, it's literally like just like there's no font. It's just hand. Even like Czech has just a K in it. Like, there's no CK. Like, everything about this fucking game just cracks me the fuck up, dude. I love this one. Snail Knight is another one that was like hand done. That's really fantastic, and I love this one. So, Snail Knight, you get to the castle with a K to win. Roll encounter for every square you stop on. Another solo game. So there's a D6 encounters. So every time you stop on a square, you have to roll one. You want to roll the first encounter?
Yeah, absolutely. What did I start on? A D6?
Just a D6.
1.
Ooh, the salt trap. You got to retreat because you're a snail. There's salt trap, carnivorous beetle, hungry toad. There's a mushroom, which means you get +1 tough. A tarantula, or nothing. And beneath that is just a big, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 5 by a bunch table that has a start on one end, a castle on the other, and you just go across this grid. And there's flowers on some of them. And then again, still handwritten. The rules are in the top left because all of that's in the bottom right. Roll 3d6 for each trait. The lowest die is the trait score. What is the other game that we read where you roll a bunch and then the lowest one is your score? I can't fucking remember it. And we even talked about it, and it's like, it's weird that was that, but it's whatever. I can't remember. I can't remember yesterday, so.
Oh, we didn't do Vermhack on the show, did we?
No, not yet.
Wow.
Anyway, yeah, you get tough, speed, or hurt. Tough, every time you get hurt, you lose a tough point. 0 equals dead. Speed, you can move this many squares per turn, add this to retreat rolls, and then hurt, add this to attack rolls. Again, this is another solo game. If you eat a flower, you gain 1 tough point. So across this table, there are a ton of flowers. Not a ton, there's some. So it says to escape danger, do a retreat roll, which is 1d6 plus your speed stat. And then beneath that, it says to murder, do a kill roll, 1d6 plus hurt. And there's arrows from both going to a thing that says greater than equal to 4 means you succeed. So 1d6 plus stat, and then you have to meet or beat a 4. You lose 1 tough point on every failed roll. And then for every 3 successful rolls, you raise a trait by 1. And then on the next page is a whole table of. Oh yeah,
it's the bonus level. So like on the one page is the actual game, and this is the Snail Knight bonus level. Yeah. Also, it's Snail Knight with no K.
But in the top one, it's got a K.
Yeah, on the Snail Knight bonus level, there's no K.
But then there's Snail Knight, which is K here. So this is a Snail Knight, as in it's nighttime in this one. That's why I'm taking it.
Yeah.
The difference here is that there are mountains, which cost double speed to cross, and there are other Snail Knights. And you actually have to roll equal to or greater than 5 on a kill roll to defeat, and you get +1 to any trait on a win, or -2 tough on a loss. So clearly you can avoid them if you want to, but you get an additional point on a trait if you don't and you kill them. So, kill. Neanderthal. Do you want Neanderthal? You want me to do Neanderthal?
I'll do Neanderthal. Sorry, my mom texted me. I was just seeing what she said. Shout out my mom. Yeah, Neanderthal. We'll just do rules. To succeed at an uncertain task, roll 1d12 under the relevant stat. Directly to the left of that, you have strength, dex, and fire. For those, you're going to roll 2d6 for each of them. Under that is Vim, which I have noticed that Nate likes to use for life. I like Vim. Vim feels good.
Vim and Vigor.
And you roll 1d6 for your Vim. Yeah. On turn, character can move 40 feet and do one action. Attacks auto hit. And then you have weapons, small, which is one inventory slot. 1d6, bigs, 2 inventory slots, 1d10, and then unarmed is 1d4. Another classic Nate one is the unarmed attacks do 1d4. I can't think of the other ones I'm thinking about. Pilgrims, I think. Yeah. What else is that? Oh yeah, subtract any damage from Vim. If Vim is 0, subtract from strength. 0 strength equals death. Vim restores after brief rest. Strength after a night's rest by a fire.
This one feels very into the odd.
I would say this is a very into the odd. It's like a
D12 into the odd,
and also you take stat damage. Yeah. And then the next page is actually like a hex crawl for this.
And it's so good.
It's all handwritten, and it's like
the little mastodon fight at the bottom.
Yeah, it's really great.
It's so good. And like even the encounter rolls are just like the D6 Daedon, the Sabertooth Tiger fight, like the community score for the Mastodon hunt.
Oh yeah. Community score starts at 0. Add +1 for each Mastodon hunted, and each numbered location conquered or allied. Add community scores to Vim of any new PCs. You just like as you build your little like tribe, you just get stronger. So
yeah, dude, the top right, the number 4, the locations of Primordial Sludge God.
Yeah,
so cool. Fucking good. I love this. Next game is No SR.
Let me tell you, the character in this, I don't know why, is one of my favorite HPS drawings. Like, I don't know what it is about the No SR little dude, but I love it.
Yeah. I mean, he's got like a more modern kind of coat, but still has a hood, just has like eyes peeking out with like a sword, lantern on a stick, and then the chicken has a little bubble that's just a skull, like a little speech bubble. That's just death. Yeah, I fucking love this. Also, the amount of tongue-in-cheek in this entire thing, in this entire section too, is like fantastic. It's No SR, which obviously no OSR, blah, blah, blah. Nate's Outstanding Simple Rules by Nate Treme. So this is great. So character creation, roll 3d6 for the following abilities: Strength, Wisdom, Dex, and Cha, because, 6 is a lot. Roll 4 times on the gear list. Roll or pick a special, write a name, draw a portrait, and keep going. So you got a little character sheet here, which you draw your little portrait, you name it. You got your 6 energies, you got your 4 stats, gear and special here. And then we got specials here. So the classes you can be are fighter, rogue, wizard, cleric, or miscellaneous. Fighters had things like knockdown, disarm, dead shot, rogue, pick, lock, sleight of hand, wizard, levitate, wield fire, cleric, heal, bless, banish, miscellaneous, navigate, telepathy, haggle, inspire. So you really, honestly, you could just roll a d20, and that's your character and your special all in one. Why don't you roll a d20 for me?
I'll roll a d20. Roll
and then 4 more d20s. So you get a cleric that has bless. And roll 4 more d20s for me.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. 7, 11, 13, 13.
Okay, so you get a quill, ink, and journal, ornate mirror, and 2 bottles of sleep syrup.
Perfect.
There you go.
My guy's insomnia, so
there you go. So the rules are: when an action outcome is uncertain, roll a d20 under the relevant ability score to succeed. If disadvantage, roll 2 and take the higher. After a successful attack, roll the weapon's damage to determine how much energy the target loses. For improved weapons and unarmed attacks, a d4 for damage. Check off a lightning bolt. Each energy lost. When all bolts are checked, you die. Game structure: one player is a ref. They control and describe the game world. The other players are the characters. Refs can create their own adventure or use a published adventure from any independent publisher like Highland Paranormal Society. And stores like spearwitch.com, Floating Chair Club, Monkey Paw Games, and Melsonia. Fucking bangers of shops right there. Some of my favorites.
Yeah.
It's literally pretty much where all of my shit comes from. And then yeah.
Some card games, and like some business card games.
Yeah, I'm going to. Can I rotate this easy? I can. Boom. There we go.
Perfect. So Wanderer, make a Wanderer. Roll 4d4 for each stat: strength, dex, wisdom. Roll d4 for defense. Starting XP, 1 defense is 20, up to basically the higher your defense is, the lower your XP is. Advancement, stats and defense points cost 50 XP to increase. Complete an adventure for 50. If an action's outcome is uncertain, roll 1d20 under the relevant stat to succeed. If disadvantage, roll 2d20 and use the higher. If advantage, use the lower. Makes perfect sense. Weapons, unarmed ones, shoddy is 1d4 and costs 15 XP. Fair, big lightning, what? Is 2d4 right in here and costs 35 XP. And fine is 3d4 and costs 75 XP. Has some enemy stats. Yeah. It's got stuff, you know? You got the whole back of the cards, backgrounds, and your character stuff, you know? Spells. Cool little game, just like on a card, you know?
Yeah, I love it.
It's funny, like, we go through so many games, and I love games. I love rules, and I like rule books, but sometimes you just make a card, and you're just like, hey, the front and back of this business card's a whole ass game.
Dude,
and you're like, fuck it, it is a whole ass game.
That's all. So much of the time, that's all you need to like get a game going into play.
Yeah.
I love small business. The flavor and how simple this is hysterical to me. So small business is a small game about small people, but it's all SMOL, which makes it like a million times more fucking adorable. So you make a character. Yeah. Why don't I want you to roll a character through all this as we go here. So make a character, roll a d6 for each attribute: strong, swift, clever, and luck. I mean, you can skip that, but so you roll now. Just roll a d6.
A 3.
Okay, so even is gnome, which gives you specials of teleport and critter speech and items of cone, hat, stick, and small pet. But you rolled odd, so you are a goblin. You have razor teeth and acid vomit, and your items are a +1 knife and matches.
It's just like my real life.
There you go. You are a fucking goblin. You're in goblin mode for sure. So gnome and goblin are the only things you get. So the rules: if an action's outcome is uncertain, roll a d6 and add the relevant attribute. 5+ succeeds on a d6. But the attributes you can get, if you roll a 1 or 2 on a d6, you have a 0. If you roll a 3 to 4, you have a 1, and on a 5 to 6, you have a 2. You will fail a lot. It's a 5+.
Yeah, I rolled my stats, and I rolled 4 and 2 2s.
So you got a 1 and 2 zeros. Yeah, you're gonna fail a lot. So when hurt, add damage to wounds. Roll a d100 every time you are injured, and add your luck, which for you I believe is what, 0.
Yeah.
If you roll under your wound score, you die. So you could have 99 wounds if you roll above a 99 every time, and I love that. All weapons do d6 damage on a successful attack. So we got gnome features, but you got a goblin, so hit me with a goblin feature, just a d6.
It is going to be 4. I have an extra thumb.
So you got, it's so good. Gnomes have flowers in their beard, an immensely deep voice, a chipmunk voice, a mossy beard, bunny tail, smell like fresh bread. But you, the goblin, could have double rows of teeth, bulging eyes, a snail shell, the extra thumb, a rooster comb, or a monkey tail. And then the character sheet is just you're strong, you're swift, you're clever, you're lucky, and then a heart for the wounds. So that's such an interesting mechanic that there is no set HP or anything, or even set number of wounds. You just build up as many wounds as you can, and as soon as you roll a D100 under the number of wounds you've developed, you're dead. That's hysterical to me. I love that, because you get to have goblins and gnomes popping out of fucking nowhere to keep going. You know, this is one of my favorites in this whole thing, because of just how awesome and ridiculous and clever it is. It cracks me up to literally no end. So yeah. And then we're gonna get into the 1-page game that's like 4 pages. I think. Yeah, here we go. This is called Yeggs. It's an OSR game about making money, and there is a very like dude-looking dude on the cover. He's got suspenders and a work shirt and work pants, and he's got that old he's got a big mustache and a work hat. He looks like a worker dude from like the 60s, you know. And he's got a stick of dynamite in his hand that's lit. And this is Yeggs. How to play. Yeggs is played by 2 to 6 people. One person is the GM, others are player characters. The GM presents the world, etc. Rolling uncertainty. If a PC attempts an action where success is uncertain, they roll a 20-sided dice. If it's less than the character trait, you're successful, so D20 roll under. Danger and death. If a PC fails at a task and there's a risk of death, they must roll a danger roll. For physical danger, they must roll under their backbone score. For if the danger is mental, they roll under wits. A failed danger roll means death. So the GM only calls for danger roll if the danger is serious. So for example, Otis failed to balance on the window ledge and fell 4 stories into a dumpster. They make a danger roll and get a 15. Otis has a backbone score of 12. Otis is dead. The player makes an a yegg. There you go. Magic and Eldritch Horror, which, I mean, if you look at this page and then you look at the next page and there's like these Eldritch Horror like creature on the top of it. Magic and the supernatural can be encountered, but is rare and dangerous. PCs must succeed on a wits roll when encountering cosmic horror. Again, I love how much flavor it gets pushed into this, because literally, like, the first you're like, oh, they're worker dudes. It's Yeggs. It's about making money. And then it's like, oh, yeah, but if you see cosmic horror, you die. Like, advancement. After 3 successful jobs, you can either raise your brawn, finesse, or brains by 1 point. If a Yegg succeeds at the same risky task 5 times, they have a knack for that activity and get advantage. So I skipped an example earlier where Otis is balancing on a ledge, but if he balances on a ledge 5 times, he now has a knack for balancing and advantage on balance rolls. Love it. Super clever.
That sounds really cool. Very good mechanic. Also, I'd like to say that the first thing I thought about when I saw the little fish person at the top of this page was the baby from Eraserhead.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I see that. Yeah.
Just so we can all relive the fact that we've seen Eraserhead on our inside of our minds, and maybe, you know, have nightmares later.
There we go. So making a Yegg. Follow these instructions and you'll have a Yegg character ready to play with. Yegg is defined by the following traits. You got Brawn, which is for strength stuff. Brains, which is for brain stuff. Finesse, which is for delicate stuff. Wits is for surviving mental harm. And Backbone is surviving physical harm. So to get your Yegg's Brawn, Finesse, and Brains, you roll 3d6 for each. And then you have 2 derived stats, which is your Backbone, which is determined by your Brawn score, and which is determined by your Brain score. And it's listed as like a set. So like 3 to 8 gives you a backbone of 8, 9 is a 10, 10 to 11 is a 10, 12 to 13 is 11. It goes up to 18 and 19, and Brawn gives you a 14 in backbone. So your backbone of wits can only go from 8 to 14, while your other stats can theoretically go up to 19, but you can roll, you know, up to 18. So you have 2 derived stats, and that's what controls your mental and physical harm. And then you have 3 stats for regular things, plus you have the danger roll. Risk of dying, danger roll. If you fail, you're dead. And then you get D66 physical features. So why don't you roll me 2 D6s? I'm going to give you a physical feature here.
I'm going to roll. I'm going to do it. You can't stop me. I'm going to do it.
I can't.
I rolled 13. Marble in place of left eye.
Boom. But like forked tongue, tattoo of a woman.
I'm going to do one more just because there's so many. Okay, no. 64. There we go. 64. Tattoo portrait of a man. You know?
There you go. Yeah. Do it again for some belongings.
21. Pet rat.
Dope. That's dope.
That's
you
great.
Get a tattoo of a man, a marble for an eye, a pet rat. And then
I also rolled a 15 because I rolled again. So fake mustache. My guy's got a pet rat and a fake mustache.
Nice. There's more D66 D66 tables, but they're in that like
that line format. Yeah.
If I could just say one thing that's not my favorite about some of the layout stuff,
it's space saver. I mean, I get it at this point. I mean, there's so much in this book that just who cares? I mean, at this point, I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever, go for it. You know.
Yeah. So just roll me the D66 for a personality trait and a name, and we'll move on from the
Okay, so 62 and 56.
You are serious, and your name is Quill. Or if you're gonna go with a lady, you're Patsy.
What was the ladies one?
Patsy, or just a feminine one. You could just be a feminine dude.
I like
That's fine.
that one.
Or a feminine person.
Feminine, yeah, not lady. Sorry, feminine. Yeah.
And then Sequencer, which is like a board game. Did you want to do that? You want me to talk about that? Because I want to play the fuck out of this game.
I don't know anything about. So yeah.
I love this game.
Okay.
So are you saying that I should do it, or you think you should do it because you don't know it?
I'll do it. Yeah, I'll do it.
Oh yeah, go for it. First of all, look at this board.
Read it with everyone. What's up?
Yeah. No, I said first of all, look at the fucking board. Yeah.
I know. Yeah, very cool. Sequencer. So to get started, you're going to print the game board, find something that uses tokens. Each player needs their own token, so their own individual one. Each player needs six-sided dice and 2 4-sided dice. Place a token in your base, the circle with a star in it. Each player rolls a d6. Highest goes first. Objective: occupy your opponent's base. Cool. Sorry, I scrolled up to look at the board again. Now, last place. How to play. On your turn, you can move into one space that is directly connected by a line to a space you already occupy. If the location is unoccupied, place a token in it. If it is occupied, you must battle for it. Battle. Each player rolls 6d6. These are their fighter dice. The player who rolls the longest sequence wins. A sequence must start at a 1. The longest possible sequence is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. However, 6 of a kind always wins. Ties go to the defender. Okay, really cool. Very straightforward. It's almost like not that it is like solitaire, but you are trying to create a sequence, like if you were playing solitaire, right?
Or Yahtzee, right?
I wouldn't know.
You've never played Yahtzee?
I've never played Yahtzee. Or if you roll 6 of a kind of all of your dice come up on the same number by some statistical impossibility. I mean, at that point, I would be, even if that wasn't the rules, I'd be like, you rolled 6 of the same. Yeah, sure, fuck it, you win. Yeah. In a battle, after rolling, players can call in reinforcements. Each player starts the game with 2 4-sided dice. Those are reinforcement dice, sorry. To call in reinforcements, roll a d4. The result is how many fighter dice you can re-roll. Very cool. Reinforcement dice cannot be regained once used. Once per game, a player can gain an additional reinforcement die by occupying all spaces matching their base color. When defending their base, a player can always call for reinforcements once, even if they are out of reinforcement dice. Very cool.
I love this. It just sounds like a.
This is a great simple board game.
Because you have your starting. Basically, it's a series of like there's. It's kind of like the top right is yellow, the bottom left is like red, and then there's a star, which is your starting spot on the top and bottom. Across the top is 3, and then there's a 1 circle, and then there's 3, and then 1 circle, and then 3. But the top one has the top 3 circles, and then 1, and then the bottom right circle. The middle one is neutral in the middle row of 3, and then the other base has the bottom left. So, and then the lines are it creates like an eye in the middle, which, oh, no. I mean, it looks like an eye to me. I don't know if it looks like an eye to you, but like there's specific lines that you can track across to do everything. Like, and then the fact that like, it's almost like a Yahtzee meets tic-tac-toe, but you battle and stuff. Like, this is such a fun fucking game. Like, I want this as Like, can we get this printed on like a cloth fucking thing?
Yeah.
With like tokens like the fucking like this? Like that, can we do that? Is that a thing, Nate, that we can get done? Because this is fucking dope. And I think that is it as far as the games. We're not really going to dig too much in the micro settings. We're actually going to go over like
a lot of cool stuff here, and if you should do this. You should get this and go through it yourself.
You like, they're so good. The adventures are fucking fantastic. There's first of all, the Lost Isle, another one of these like collage situations with flowers and stuff on the blue background with the skull and the flowers and shit. Another one of the good, fantastic pieces in here. So yeah, everything else that we're not going around this book is so fucking good. Like, it's so good. But some of the adventures, like one of my favorite adventures in here is actually, I think, one of the only things in here that's for 5e. Which, could be adapted to something else. Oh my god, dude, what child is this?
Yeah, the Godchild one.
Oh my god, it's so good. So I just wanted to talk about that just a tiny bit.
You should babysit some gods. No big deal.
Yeah. Barrow the Elf King is really fantastic. So I'm trying to scroll down. Oh, I mean, also, so is the Cursed Chapel of the Sludge Mother. So much of this is on the itch page, so you can definitely check that out. Also, like almost all of this stuff you can find on Nate's itch page. So definitely go check out that.
181, I believe, is where it starts. Maybe it starts a little bit before that, actually.
Ooh. Seizure alert! Don't look. Oh, this is another one that's really fantastic. The Tomb of the Swine Prophet is so good.
One, yeah.
All right, so what child is this? First of all, how fucking cute is that little baby drawing? I'm not one to like babies at all, but it's adorable. And then the little swaddled one with like the crown floating on their head and shit. So this is a low-level adventure of divine babysitting for D&D 5th edition. A priestess has asked a band of adventurers to deliver a mysterious baby to a temple, but there's no ordinary child, and strange forces want its power for themselves. I'm not going to go over the whole thing, but it's great. Incarnated God Baby is tiny, chaotic good, human celestial. XP is minus 2,000. It's got AC 2, HP 4, speed 0. It's got minus 5 strength, minus 5 dex, minus 5 con, minus 5 int, plus 5 wisdom, and minus 10 charisma. Yeah. And then it's got Giggle and Coo as one of its abilities. The baby makes cute noises, and all creatures that hear must make a DC 15 wisdom save or refrain from any hostile actions for a whole round. Like, literally, it just giggles, and everyone just has to stop being mad. And then it can bless, which is bestows 3 temporary hit points on a visible target. So again, we're not going to go into too much of this, but for some mysterious reason, an immortal being has chosen to become human. Does it know its true nature? It appears to behave normal, etc. You heal 1d4 HP every sunrise. As long as the baby is taken care of, fed, burped, everything, a party in possession of the child gains the following benefits. You will heal 1d4 HP every sunrise. You get double XP from fiend-type creatures. Animals will not be hostile to the baby or the party, and you have advantage on detecting illusions. So on the map, you start at number 1, which is a town of Hollick in the bottom. But one of my favorite things is, so there's 2, 3, 4, 6, like, you're trying to get this baby somewhere, which is not towards number 5. In the very top left of the map. But number 5 is one of my favorites. And this is really talking about like how fucking awesome Nate's writing is. So number 5 is the Tomb of the Owl Lord, right? So it's an ancient tomb uncovered by a recent sandstorm. So if we go down to, and there's random adventures, there's stuff for all the stuff. But if you go down the Tomb of the Owl Lord, there's 4 rooms in it. There's a good drawing here. I'm going to skip parts of it. But the room number 3 is one of my favorite rooms. It is a cultist, an imp, and a spine devil, right? And also knowing that you get bonuses from fiend types, right?
Right.
But you walk into the room, and then it's a cultist, an imp, and a spine devil trying to open a locked door to room number 4. An angelic inscription on the door explains the door will unlock if fiend blood is splashed on it. What are your characters gonna do? What are your players gonna do? Like, there's nothing that says if you kill the spine devil, like mirrors blood on the door. There's nothing that says you could also be friends, roll a cha check. It doesn't say any of that shit. This is literally one sentence for the entire room. And you know the hours that you could spend in this room with your players, like trying to figure out what they want to do, talking to the amp, talking to the cultist.
Of it,
yeah. Here, let me give you a quick paper cut and touch the door. Like, it's just it's so good. And this is what I'm talking about when I said that like everyone should write adventures like this. Stop giving players and even GMs how to accomplish something or the story you're trying to do. Because if you get to the final room, I'm not even going to tell you, buy the book, unless you were just staring at it and reading it. Like, it's just so fucking good. And that's it as far as the book goes. I think the only there's some appendices that are great. D6 unwanted magical companions, a monster maker, which is dope. This though, this symbol here,
just the symbol is the reason it's the best. So
yeah, the
so if you're
spells of the inverted mountain,
the cult of the inverted mountain being the best religion, is because in the book there is this really cool symbol that's like a circle with an inverted mountain in it, and that's its symbol. I'm like, oh, that's the coolest thing ever. So
coolest fucking thing ever. But also the spells that are listed here are some of my favorite fucking magic spells ever. I love them so much. So you have the star sign, the life taker, the life fire, the sanctuary, the butler, the betrayer, and the snail eater. And so the life fire is one of my favorite. Cast a lit flame as long as at least an ember of the flame burns, the target caster chooses will not age or fall ill. So you could literally just be like, I am your god, keeps the fire burning forever. And then they can never age, never fall ill, nothing. But one of my favorites is also the betrayer. A being from elsewhere appears. In exchange for one of the caster's limbs, it will kill a person the caster chooses and has met. Here's my arm, murder that person. And it goes,
feels like powerful magic. You know what I mean? Like it's powerful magic. Like I feel like this has got like what magic I often find is lacking. Like I think the life fire is a great one too of that. It's just like as long as the ember is burning, you're just not going to age or fall ill, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I almost want to read all of them. They're so good. The star sign, embed a telepathic message in a star. Choose up to 4 people who can hear it when seeing the star, and it lasts 2d6 decades.
Lasts 2d6 decades.
The life taker, spell is cast on a baby 3 months old or less. The next time the caster sleeps, their mind is permanently switched with the baby. Sanctuary, you cast on a door. The next time it's opened, it opens into the last church the caster entered, and it ends when the door is closed. The butler, cast on a closet. A man will exit the closet wearing clothes from the closet and will obey your demands. Vanishes an hour. And then the snail eater, dude. All snails within 2 miles of the target will be drawn to them and try to crawl into their mouth. And it lasts for 1d6 months.
For 1d6 months. Any snails in the vicinity are going to actively try to crawl in your mouth.
Try to sleep. It's like Berserk, but snails. Like, good luck, fucker. Like, I love it. So, and that's the end. And this is the big Highland Paranormal logo with like the eye, the blue beam, the yellow and white circle. 2 other things we want to go through real quick are Rodet and Pilgrims of the cool. Pilgrims of Misfortune. I'm going to scroll through this real quick. So it's a business card game. It comes on 3 cards, and I am like kicking myself because I can't fucking find mine. It's driving me nuts. But I just want to scroll through what it looks like here. You can see it's pink and blue and white, and it's great. But there's actually a 1-page too, and here's the 1-page for it, and that's it. So Rodet, I love this. It says it's pronounced Rodet. Oh, it says R-O-W. I read that as Rodet. Maybe it's Raudet, but I see it as Rodet. Right, yeah. It's a Cajun French word meaning run the roads. So how to play. If an action success is uncertain, roll 1d12 over relevant flaw. That's one of my favorite things, and Pilgrims is similar.
Pilgrims,
yeah. Combat and death. At the start of combat, each player must roll over slow to act before the enemies. To hit or dodge, roll over weak. For melee or slow for ranged. Normal weapons do 1d6 damage to Vim. Magic weapons add +1 to hit and damage. Every time damage leaves Vim below 12, roll 1d12 under Vim to survive. So if your Vim is ever below 12, you have to roll 1d12 under your Vim or you're dead. I love it. There's a list here for creatures. So dangerous, deadly, and beastly. 14 Vim, d6 damage, up to 40 Vim, 2d12 damage. There's a reaction table, which is pretty standard. There's a list of random encounters on the bottoms for dungeon, wilderness, or city. But character creation, you roll 2d6 for each flaw that you have: weak, slow, or foolish. You re-roll any 1s and 6s, and you add all scores together to get your Vim. I love that so much. We talked about this before. Like, these aren't the things you're good at; they're the things you're bad at.
Yeah.
And you have to roll above what you're bad at. Like, it's kind of like a roll under, but you're rolling over because you're bad at it. Like, I love that so much. It's so clever. It gets me. There's some starting items. You can roll for physical features like pointed ears, face tattoos. Like, it's like, these are the physical features you're rolling for, and it's like sharp fangs being a cyclops, webbed hands. It's like, where are we going with Rode here? And then the name generator, you roll 2 to 3 times and combine. So roll me like 2 or 3 d20s, and we'll mix and match it.
I'm gonna roll 3.
Go for
1, 19, 18.
So you got Old C Poe, and in some combination of that, you can put all together, and that's your name.
Poldsey.
Could be
Poldsey.
Poldsey, yeah, that's you, Poldsey. Earlier, I rolled a 9 and 3, the het and the riv, and I was like, oh, I'll be Rivet, Rivet.
Oh, cool.
Dope. Yeah, there's spells here. To cast a spell, you have to roll over Foolish. On a failure, lose 1d6 Vim. Bro, spell, like, that's mean. Yeah, you can cast from scrolls, but they burn out. And I love this, that you can transcribe it at a terrible cost. There's a list of spells here that are cool. And that's Rode. I love this. It's so fucking good. There are a bunch of adventures for Rode, which is cool too. And then we have Pilgrims of Misfortune, which I feel like is just like an expanded Rode.
Yeah, I feel like it's just it's Rode plus, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Same kind of thing though, right? It's like a D12 roll over your faults, your negative aspects, and you just mentioned this, but like I love it. It's very similar to that D20 roll under, because you're responsible for the stat. It's not like, oh, you the dungeon master, game runner, whatever is setting like a DC to beat. And it's like, oh no, this is how bad you suck at this. You just need to be better than you suck. And I really like that.
So good.
Yeah, so Pilgrims is kind of also like In the Light of a Ghost Star, in which that you're kind of looking for artifacts, right? It's like a dungeon delver.
Yeah. Oh, you know what was something I meant to mention earlier, and it completely fucking escaped my mind because we were talking about how good In the Light of a Ghost Star worked. But In the Light of a Ghost Star is a great system, and it has been used. In the Light of a Setting Sun from John Davis is a Western game that is fucking fantastic, that uses In the Light of a Ghost Star as a base. So if you love In the Light of a Ghost Star but want to get weird and West, definitely check out In the Light of a Setting Sun from John Davis from Civ Sanctum. Yeah. Are you doing Pilgrims, or you want me to run through Pilgrims real quick?
Sorry, I was looking at John Davis's itch real quick. So Pilgrims game structure. Once again, we got a great quick explanation. The game unfolds as a conversation between a player and a player called the comptroller, and at least one other player. The comptroller presents a fictional world for the other players to explore with their player characters, PCs. The comptroller controls the world, all NPCs, and how they react to the PCs. The resolution of uncertainty. It's D12 roll over your PC's faults, their relevant fault. I think the example in this one is like someone doing like walking across something precarious, and they have to roll above their clumsiness score of a 7. Yeah. Which fantastic. Just like,
and look at the little guy.
Such a funny way to think about stats. Like, instead of just like how good you are, like strength X, it's like, no, this is just how bad you are.
I love it so much. It makes me want to like just do all my games like that, where I'm like, instead of trying to think of like, oh, this is your body, this is your mind, or whatever, it's just like, man, like, what could someone just really suck at, and you have to be better than that.
This is your stupid score. I also like that. I feel like
the little guy, how fucking cute with his little cheeks and his fucking mustache.
There's something more whimsical about a lot of these HPS games, or just like they don't necessarily have to be, but stuff like this especially, it's just like, this could be fun. You know, it doesn't be like that gritty dungeon stuff, which I also like truly do enjoy. Yeah, but like this is kind of cute, you know. It's just kind of a cute little fun time.
It's adorable, dude. Again, it all feels like it definitely has like that kind of I don't want to just say Adventure Time, but like what's his name, Paddington, or what's his name? That's not Paddington Bear, but you know what I mean. The guys who created Adventure Time. Pendragon, Paddington.
I thought you were gonna say Paddington Bear. I'm like, bro, this is no. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Pendleton Ward. It's got that kind of like Adventure Time in the sense that like it's like a little bit weird and it can be a little bit goofy, but can also be like dangerous too, which is really fucking fantastic. Like I don't know, really love it.
Listen, he also did Midnight Gospel, which
oh, dude, that's the other thing I was thinking earlier was
if you could
fucking do Midnight Gospel. The mom episode, bro.
Oh, I don't. We can't start talking about it. Because I will stop.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah. Also, shout out that show. Don't do shrooms and watch that show because you'll cry as hard as you possibly can. Oh
yeah, it wasn't Pendleton Ward, right? It was Duncan Trussell.
He's on it as well. But yeah, it is Duncan Trussell. But Pendleton Ward, I think, does some of the animation.
Gotcha. Okay, makes sense. All right, so combat pilgrims.
Yeah, pilgrims combat. You know, there is fighting. The attacker rolls their weapon die, subtracts the target's armor, and then deals the remaining total to their opponent's vim. Unarmed attacks always do 1d4. Classic. Dying. If a player character takes damage that leaves their vim below 12, the player rolls 1d12. If the result is higher than their vim, they succumb to the inevitable embrace of death. Very whimsical, cute. Also, you die. Retreat. To run away from dire situations, PCs must overcome clumsiness and have a safe destination to run to. Healing, Vim can be restored by expert medical attention, though most doctors are mere snake oil peddler charlatans. I suppose it is possible that time and rest can heal simple injuries. Comptrollers can adjudicate the health benefits of relaxation on a case-by-case basis. Of course, some folks may be inclined to seek magical healing, such soul-risking undertakings are often adventures in their own right.
This whole paragraph is such a fantastic example of embedding lore into rules without writing a bunch of shit, but making it so fucking evocative. Like 5 words in that whole thing changes everything. Because if you get rid of like the whole like snake oil peddling charlatan part, it's just like, oh, there's doctors, cool. And if you get rid of like soul risking for healing, you're just like, oh, that I'll just go find a healer then. No, you know that healers can risk your soul. Like that changes the entire vibe of the whole mechanic in any part of it, is because every time, oh my god, without over explaining, without giving me a whole paragraph on what a healer is and what their stats are and the spells I can do for healing, like nothing. It's so
amazing. Where are we now? Relics. Relics are valuable items embedded with magical energies. Characters can only be attuned to one relic at a time unless their doubt is less than a 6. You have a low doubt. Then they can be attuned to a second relic. To be attuned to a new relic takes 24 hours of prayer and meditation. Attuned relics do not take up an inventory slot. There are 2 kinds of relics: casting and passive. Passive relics are always in effect when attuned. Unless the description says otherwise. Casting relics can be used automatically once per day by those attuned to them. To use them again, the caster must overcome their doubt. Failing inflicts 1d6 damage. Yeah. There's turns, rounds, and watches. Good to have here if you've never encountered those. Yeah, they work fairly standardly. I mean, it works the same way that like vanilla game works, and if I remember correctly, so this is a lot based on Karen and vanilla game.
So
Yeah.
turns,
So there's
watches,
encounter
random
rolls.
encounters.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all that stuff. And then hunger and light. You got rations and light sources. A PC must. It's also very standard. Like you have to consume a ration every day, which is 4 watches. Or become hungry. A hungry PC loses 1 Vim every watch. Vim lost to hunger is restored upon eating. Spending a watch for foraging. I can read. Yields 1d3 rations. Light sources. A light source illuminates a room roughly 30 feet radius until they burn out. Candles burn out in 3 turns. Torches burn out in 6 turns. Lanterns with a pint of oil burn out in 12 turns. So, yeah. And then we got NPCs. NPCs. That's how they work. They're right here.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yep.
And then I like this mythic. Some creatures are so powerful that reducing them to numerical values is sacrilege. Gods, angels, demons, and dragons are not mere beasts. Surviving an encounter with such a being is akin to surviving a natural disaster. To be the focus of their attention, whether in hatred or kindness, is dangerous. Sages know the indifference of higher beings is a gift. May you remain unseen by the cosmos. Amen. Also, probably 100 Vim and 3d10 damage.
Hey, stats are sacrilege. By the way, here's some stats for you real quick. Yeah, love this. Reaction table, standard. A lot of this stuff is, again, from vanilla game, is pretty straightforward, really good. But I love, like I said, that this almost feels like Rodet if all of this extra stuff is added to it.
Yes.
Turns, watches, surprise, distance, morale, like all of that stuff is pretty... it's great because Rodet is fun. Like, sit down, let's play this real quick. But this is something I feel like this allows you to campaign more, which is really great.
Yeah.
Allows you to have some more tools to use, like the encounter table generator. And then there's literally like a whole section for
Comptroller.
Dude, and it's so good. And like, it's such a good thing to read for making like adventures and running these games the way we've been talking about the whole time. It's like, it says there is no plot. Stories are relics of an adventure. Like, it emerges during play. Keep going. Like, it's really good. Be generous with information. Knowledge allows players to make informed decisions. The world is not precious. Players will disrupt and soil the world you have prepared. Like, this, in my opinion, is like one of the best GM descriptors or pages of GM principles to read for the whole concept of basically like, you're a referee. Enjoy the emergent play that your players have from like the situations they're put in, not the story you're trying to tell. It's so fucking good, dude.
Also, the last one, do not suffer the ghouls of bigotry and fascism at your table, or remove them from the game quickly and viciously. Shout out.
Yeah.
Punch Nazis.
Fuck fascists. A-cab.
Yeah. And then player characters. So broad strokes here. You roll 2d6 for each fault. You can reroll ones and sixes. So nothing's ever too great or too bad. You can swap 2 scores desired. Combine all of your faults to get your Vim, and then you're going to roll on the equipment table, right? So your faults, you have 3: frailty, clumsiness, and doubt. Frailty, physical might, clumsiness, dexterity, and doubt is all the mental aspects. And then you have traits. In addition to faults, PCs have the following traits: Vim, which we just went over. You combine all your faults into your Vim. Armor, your protection, and then your inventory. All PCs have a backpack with 10 slots. Yeah. Cool, like pencil drawing, or maybe it's charcoal.
It's the same graphic that was the start of the one-page thing, and I think the same ones that are on top of Radical Quest.
Okay. Yeah. At the start of that one. Yeah, you're right. Equipment table. Honestly, it's equipment, but I think what we need to go over is the past failures. I love this character creation. There's a lot of choices here. You're gonna roll for a bunch of different stuff. It's very cool, but I think by far and away the best part to roll on is past failures. All PCs have a past mistake that has shaped their present course. You may create your own or select randomly through rolling an 8-sided die for the tens place and another one. So it's a D88. You want to roll for me?
Yeah. I rolled a 74.
You called your teacher mom. Okay, I gotta roll on this now too. I rolled a 54.
Oh my god!
Is you stole a boat on a dare and got lost. You still are.
There's like, it's so good. Like some of the other ones on the page that I rolled on. What was this one? That it was you ran away to join a circus, but they wouldn't hire you. Like
your parents wish you were more like your successful cousin Carol. This reminds me of like you ever seen any of the Thor Marvel movies?
Like the Ragnarok ones and shit.
Yeah. You know, he meets Korg, and Korg's like, yeah, I tried to start a successful rebellion, but it failed because I didn't print enough flyers.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
After that, you have relics. All of the relics, for the most part, there's passive and then there's casting rights. The passive ones are kind of like, they give you a plus to something. And the casting ones are like when activated blank, right? Like 15, the Chalice of Madonna, when activated, any liquid in it transforms into a 1d4 healing elixir.
Number 9. Cool. Number 9 is my favorite.
9. Toe Ring of Mother Fatima. +1 to swimming.
When's the last time you had a toe ring as a magic item?
I don't know. I'm wearing one right now. So
get it.
Yeah. You want to read advancement? Because I'm starting to lose my voice a little bit.
Yeah. Advancement. Player characters sojourn on the path of holiness. They may improve themselves, overcoming the faults of the flesh. There are multiple ways to do this. Decide on how you wanted to do it. Despite which method you use, no fault may be lowered below 3. Vim is not recalculated when fault scores change. Your starting Vim is your Vim. So the first option is player dedication. After playing for 3 sessions, a player may choose to decrease a fault by 1. This rewards players who can maintain a regular schedule and punishes those who cannot. That's right. Show up at the table. Can't play, can't win. Many consider it cruel and inconsiderate of life's unpredictable complexity. These same people are often late for everything. Divine intervention. Player characters may pray for divine mercy to lift them from their wretched state. When they complete a pilgrimage to a major shrine or encounter a being of immense holiness, they may petition them to diminish a fault. And then practice makes perfect. Player characters may improve themselves through hard work. This may involve training with a boxer for months to become less frail, paying a wise monk to teach you the secrets of the faith so you can become less doubtful, or apprenticing with circus acrobats, if they'll hire you, to become more graceful. Seeking out opportunities for improvement can be adventures in themselves. And then there's a starting adventure with a map of Drurmik. And I think the rest is pretty much adventures.
It is, and there's the last 2-ish pages are it's relics for the adventure, and then it's like beasts and stuff, you know.
Yeah. And with some sick drawings, though, like the Zethu
really
is
cool
a very
drawings. Very different than the other stuff.
Yeah, Archangel, kind of like the 6 wings, like it's a real angel of God with like the eyes and the wings and shit. So good.
Zethu.
Yeah, and then the Pelgrith, this my God, like gazelle head looking many armed, like just insane thing.
Yeah,
fantastic. And that's Pilgrims from Highland Paranormal, and that's I think that's the end of everything that we're gonna do.
Yeah, I think that's our episode. What a cool episode. You know, like I enjoyed it.
I absolutely love this. And, I think we're definitely going to, like, over the course of the show in the next 100 episodes or so, we'll do more of these. We're not reviewing anything. We're not critiquing anything for the most part. Just appreciating good fucking shit. We have to do a world champ one. So we'll be going through a bunch of atoms.
We should also just do we should get every issue of Knock and just pick out a bunch of stuff
all of those?
like. Yeah,
all of those. Yeah,
so,
all those. I 100% down for that. This is so great. Like Nate just makes fantastic games. Again, just the quality, the adventures, the simple elegance of all of the systems, the whimsy, the lore that goes into each one with just like 3 to 5 words. Again, Tunnel Goons in 5 words During the War and Robomantis is enough for me to go, oh fuck, like I have a whole world already in my head. It's so fucking good. The Haunted Almanac, honestly, if this is being reprinted, I believe Nate said it was, you want to go check out Games Omnivorous. Just anything Games Omnivorous puts out, buy it. I don't care what it is. It's gonna be the fucking shit. Like everything 17th century minimalist, like all of the Manifestus Omnivorous stuff, the Mouse Ritter stuff is amazing. Everything they do is of such insane quality, and it's fantastic. But this book is, if you are into indie TTRPGs at all, the Haunted Almanac from Nate Treme is an absolute 100% must on your shelf. It's insane. Like, definitely check it out. So we
10s across the board. It was
insane. So we will let you know as we know, because obviously I'm going to be tuned into Games Omnivorous, and I'll let you know right away if it pops up on the store. So check it out. That is our episode for today. We're still trying to figure out what we're doing in October, so we will keep you guys updated with our schedule for the next month. I'll work on getting another schedule out for that, trying to be better about that. But that's it. That's all I got. I think, Hunter, you got anything?
I think it's all I have as well.
All right. Well, then.
Disaster tourism.
Oh, yeah. That's something I absolutely did mean to talk about and wanted to talk about. Disaster Tourism has an awesome Kickstarter going on right now. Obviously, they are our go-to third host here on the show. You want to go check out Slasher on Kickstarter right now. We will I have the links all over my the Twitter on our stuff here. You can check out Disaster Tourism on Twitter as well to get the link to the Kickstarter page, but you 100% want to go check it out. Slasher already exists in the world. You can buy it on Exalted Funeral. I think it's going on sale, but they're doing a Slasher final cut to add more content to it, expand the rule set, do everything like that. It's a really fantastic game. Uses a Jenga tower and victims escaping a slasher killer. Super fun. I've looked through the rule set. It's really, really great. You definitely want to go check that out. Back it. They did a very short window for funding. It's like 10 days and we're down to 6 days. So 100% want to go check that out. It's going to be fantastic. Let's try to get it funded. And that is what I have, and we'll let you know what we're doing next week, sometime before next week. So check us out on our link tree, the Weekly Scroll. All of the links to Games Omnivorous and to Nate's itch page and website and all this stuff will be in the descriptions, whether it's on the podcast or on the YouTube. Check that out. And if you're listening on the podcast, I do highly, highly recommend you check this one out on YouTube. The visuals in this book are indescribably awesome, so check all that out. Other than that, again, Nate, thank you for making awesome shit. Thank you, everyone in the chat.
Amazing.
And I will talk to you later, Hunter. We'll see you all later.
Farewell. Bye.